Chapter 48 Sri Sai Satcharitra Wording of Devotees' Calamities, Stories of Shevdi, and second one is Saptanikar. At the commencement of this chapter, someone asked Hemadpant whether Sai Baba was a Guru or Sadguru. In order to answer the question, Hemadpant described the signs or marks of a Sadguru as follows. Signs of Sadguru. He who teaches us Veda and Vedanta or the six Shastras, he who controls the breath or breathes his body with mudras, or gives pleasing disclosure about Brahma, he who gives mantras to his disciples and orders them to chant the same at certain number of times, but does not assure them of the result in a definite time, he who by his spacious worldly knowledge explains beautifully the ultimate principle, but has himself got no experience or self-realization is not Sadguru, but he who by his discourse creates in us a distaste for the enjoyment of this world and the next and gives us taste of self-realization, who is well versed in the both theoretical and practical knowledge deserves to be called Sadguru. How can he, who is himself devoid of self-realization, give it to his disciples? A Sadguru does not even in his dream expect any service or profit for his disciples. On the contrary, he wishes to serve them. He does not think he is great and the disciple small. Not only he loves as a son, but regards him as equal to him or Brahma. The main characteristics of a Sadguru is that he is the adobe of peace. He is never restless nor ruffled. He has no pride of his learning. The poor and the rich, the small and the great are the same to him. Hemadpant thinks that on account of the store of accumulation of merits in the past life, he had the good fortune of meeting and being blessed by such a Sadguru as Sai Baba. Even in full youth, he owed nothing. He had no family, no friend, no home, nor any support. Since he was 18, his control of mind was perfect and extraordinary. He lived there fearless, in a secluded place, and always abided in his self. Seeing the pure attachment of his devotees, he always acted in the interest, and hence he was in a way dependent on them. What experiences he gave to his devotees while he was living in flesh are even today after his Mahasamadhi obtained by those who attach themselves to him. What the devotees have to do is this. They have to trim the heart lamp of faith and devotion and burn it in the wicks of love. And when this is done, the flame of knowledge will be lit up and shine brighter. Mere knowledge without love is dry. Nobody wants such knowledge. Without love, there is no commitment. So, why should we have unbroken and unbounded love? How can we praise love? Everything is insignificant before it. Without love, our reading and the study are of no avail. In the wake of love, follow devotion, dispassion, peace, liberation. With all these treasures, we do not get love for anything unless we feel earnest about it. So, when there is a real yearning and feeling, God manifests Himself. It includes love and is the means of liberation. Now, let us revert to the main story of this chapter. Let a man go to a true saint with a pure mind, otherwise, and hold his sheep. Ultimately, he is sure to be saved. This is illustrated in the following stories. Mr. Shevde. Mr. Saptanikar of Akkalkot, that is Sholapur district, was studying law. A fellow student, Mr. Shevde, met him. Other fellow students also gathered together and compared notes at the study. It was found that the question and answers among them that Mr. Shevde was the least prepared of all for the examination, and therefore all the students derided him. But he said that though he was not prepared, he was sure to pass, as Sai Baba was there to get him through it successfully. Mr. Saptanikar was surprised at this remark. He took Mr. Shevde aside and asked him who Sai Baba was and whom he extolled so much. He replied, there lives in Masjid in Shirdi, Ahmednagar district, a fakir. He is a great Satpurusha. There may be other saints, but this is unique. Unless there is a great store of merit on one's account, one can't see him. I fully believe in him, and what he says will be never untrue. He had assured me that I will pass definitely next year, and I am confident that I will get through the final examination also with his grace. Mr. Saptanikar laughed at the friend's confidence and jeered at him and Baba. Mr. Saptanikar passed his examination, settled at Akkalkot, and practiced law there. 10 years after this, that is in 1913, he lost his only son on account of a throat disease. This broke his heart. He sought relief for making a pilgrimage to Pandharpur, Gangapur, and other holy places. He got no peace of mind. Then he read Vedanta, which also did not help him. In the meanwhile, he remembered Mr. Shevde's remark and its faith in Baba, and he thought that he should go to Shirdi and see Baba. He went to Shirdi with his younger brother Pandit Rao and was much pleased to see Baba from a distance. When he went near and prostrated himself and placed a coconut before Baba with pure feeling, the latter at once cried out, "Get away!" Sapnekar hung his head down, moved back and sat aside. He wanted to consult somebody who would advise him to proceed. Somebody mentioned Bala Simpi's name. Sapnekar saw him and sought his help. They bought Baba's photos and came with him to the masjid. Baba Simpi took a photo in his hand, gave it to Baba and asked him whose photo it was. Baba said that this photo was the Yara, that is lover of him, pointing to Sapnekar. Saying this, Baba laughed and all others joined. Bala asked Baba the significance of the last and beckoned Sapnekar to come forward and take darshan. When Sapnekar began to prostrate himself, Baba again cried out, "Get out!" Sapnekar did not know what to do. Then they both joined hands and sat before Baba praying. Baba finally ordered Sapnekar to clear out immediately. Both were sad and dejected as Baba's orders have to be obeyed. Sapnekar left Shirdi with a heavy heart, praying that he should be allowed to take darshan next time. Mrs. Sapnekar, 1 year elapsed, still his mind was not at peace. He went to Gangapur where he felt more restless. Then he went to Madegaon for the rest and finally decided to go to Kashi. 2 days before starting, his wife got a vision. In her dream, she was going in a picture to Lakshadweep well. There a fakir with a piece of cloth around his head, who was sitting in the foot of the neem tree, came close and asked her and said, "My dear Lassi, why get exhausted for nothing? I get your pitcher filled with pure water." She was afraid of the fakir and hastened back with the empty pitcher. The fakir followed her. At this, she was awakened and opened her eyes. She told the vision to her husband. They thought that this was an auspicious sign and they both left for Shirdi. When they reached Masjid, Baba was absent. He had gone to Lendi. They waited till his return. When he returned, she was surprised to see that the fakir she saw in the dream resembled exactly Baba. She reverently prostrated herself before Baba and sat looking at him. Seeing her humility, Baba was much pleased and began to tell story in a peculiar characteristic fashion to the third party. He said, "My arms, abdomen, waist are paining for a long time. I took many medicine. The pain did not abate. I got sick of the medicines as they gave me no relief. But I am surprised to see now that all the pains had disappeared at once. Though no name was mentioned, it was the story of Mr. Sapnekar herself. Her pains, as described by Baba, left her soon and she was happy." Mr. Sapnekar went ahead to take darshan. He was again welcomed with the formal "Get out." This time he was more penitent and purposing. He said that Baba's displeasure was due to his past deeds and resolved to make amends for the same. He determined to see Baba alone and asked his pardon for the past actions. This he did. He placed his head on Baba's feet and Baba placed his hand on him, and Sapnekar sat stroking Baba's leg. Then a shepherdess came and sat massaging Baba's waist. Baba, in his characteristic fashion, began to tell the story of Bania. He relates the various vicissitudes of all the lives, including the death of his only son. Sapnekar was surprised to see that the story which Baba related was his own, and he wondered how Baba knew exact details of it. He came to know that he was omniscient and knew hearts of all. When this crossed his mind, Baba still addressed the shepherdess and pointing to Sapnekar said, "This fellow blames me and charges me with killing his son. Do I kill people's children? Why does this fellow come to the masjid and cry? Now I will do this. I will again bring the very child back to his wife's womb." With these words, he placed his blessing on the hand and comforted, saying, "These feet are old and holy. You are carefree now. Place entire faith in me and you will soon get your object." Sapnekar was very much moved with emotion. He bathed Baba's feet with his tears and then returned to his residence. Then he made preparation of worship and Naivedya and came to his wife to masjid. He offered all this to Baba daily and accepted prasad from him. There was crowd in masjid and Sapnekar went there and saluted Baba again and again. Seeing heads clashing against heads, Baba said to Sapnekar, "Oh, why do you prostrate yourself now and then? The one namaskar offered with love and humility is enough." Then Sapnekar witnessed that night the Chowdi procession described before. In this procession, Baba looked like a veritable Pandurang, that is Vittal. At parting next day, Sapnekar thought that he should first pay a 1 rupee as dakshina, and if Baba asked instead of saying no, he should pay one more, reserving with him sufficient amount for the expense for the journey. When he went to the masjid and offered 1 rupee, Baba asked for another as per his intention, and when it was paid, Baba blessed him, saying, "Take the coconut, Put it in your wife's ooty, that is the upper fold of her sari, and go away at ease without the least anxiety. He did so, and within a year a son was born to him, and with an infant of 8 months the pair came to Shirdi, placed its Baba at Baba's feet, and prayed thus: O Sainath, we do not know how to redeem your obligations. Therefore we prostrate ourselves before you. Bless us, poor helpless fellows. Henceforth let your holy feet be our sole refuge. Many thought that an ideas trouble us in walking and dreaming state. So turn away our mind from them to your bhajan and bless us. The son was named Murlidhar. The two others, Bhaskar and Dinkar, were born afterwards. The Sapnekars pair thus realized that, and Baba's words never came untrue and unfulfilled, but turned out literally true. Bo to Sri Sai, peace be to all.